Good. We will have a couple of presentations, and then we'll kick off with our panel discussion, where we have a little bit of time also to talk about, okay, how could we maybe combine this skill set and make it very easy for people to actually also understand what we're working on, because sometimes it's so innovative, you really have to, to get your head around this topic. So guys, welcome all, come over here, have a seat. We'd love you to join our panel discussion. We all have like innovators here that are really going to change your future as a consumer on the topic of e-mobility. So please take a seat. Okay, very good. So our first presentation is of Markus Dold of echarge.work. You will show a couple of slides. Topic, the European initiative to get e-cars on the street. And I think a very important word is now, and not later, but now. So,
yeah, thank you very much. I just have a small introduction video about what we are doing. We started the initiative with the show, with the International Automotive Show here in Frankfurt. We are also the exclusive partner for the charging station out there in the Agora, so feel free to take our energy and drive the electric car now. So who I am, I invented, or I saw 25 years ago the stuff with the internet that will really disrupt all the bookings in the hotel areas. So I brought more than 3,000 hotels within 2 years into the internet. And if the hotel owner or hotel director said to me, I don't need internet, I don't need email, so what the hell is that? Then I even paid for the first year the internet access to the hotel to get him on board, to get him into the net, to have his videos, to have his pictures, his hotel descriptions in several languages, right on the internet, in the internet booking system.
Yeah. And what year are we talking about? Sorry to interrupt, but...
It was in 1997.
Oh, okay, 20 years ago.
Yeah, more than 20 years ago. I saw the perspective of the internet already. So I solved the chicken and the egg problem. So for me, it was first to get the inventory of hotels into the internet, and then we can sell the book it button to the airliners, like the Austrian Airlines and so on. And we put all that together first in my system. Then we put everything together with an American company. Unfortunately, they ran out of money in 2000, where the Nasdaq crashed, so we put all together into the booking.com. And you all know, if you are traveling, you will use booking.com. So I was one of the guys who did the foundation of booking.com. Yeah. So now we have the same chicken and egg problem with the cars. What is first, the cars or the charging stations? So my idea is the charging stations need to be now installed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is about the traveling? I think sustainable energy, sustainable traveling, that should be in all our minds. So I recommend you that you take your electrical vehicle and travel with the electric vehicle from door to door, from hotel to hotel, and just enjoy the beautiful landscape that we have in Europe, and use hotels with charging station, of course. Load them overnight, so the grid can be treated intelligent. So that is the way what we are doing here. So how came the idea into my mind? The hour of birth of echarge.work was when I just had by chance to sit in a nice electric vehicle with the big screens, with the big screen on the right side. So that was like heaven, like be in heaven, like to be in the Raumschiff Enterprise, in the space shuttle. That everything is new, and it's amazing to glide over the streets without noise and just listening to the music. Yeah. So that was when I saw internet change the world 20 years ago. Now e-mobility will change the world now. So that is what drives me. And to tell you about what is the eCharge work, we did a think tank in Vienna. We are working out of Vienna, It's one of the hotspot if you look at startups at the moment. And we were there since 18 months and thought about how to put everything together. From time to time it happened that you just have to take the different modules and combine the modules in a new way to get something new born.
So to wrap it up all together, you provide infrastructure now to parties in order for them to use e-mobility to become an active user. And what is then exactly the product or the service that you then in the end will deliver to the consumer?
Yeah, what we are doing, we bring the charging stations right through the hotel to the user. The hotel has to pay nothing to us. We pay for the box, for the charging station. We pay for the groundwork that is needed to build it. We pay for the electrical guy who connect it, and we pay even for the currency. So we pay everything, and just you as an EV driver has to pay 20 euros in average for the parking. We don't sell energy because energy is just from the grid. That is a lot of energy out, and we use the night and Saturday and Sunday to slowly charge the car. So we just give the energy for free.
Very good. Thank you so much for this very interesting introduction. Our second guest flew in from San Francisco. You also have some water next to you on the table if you might get thirsty after such a long plane ride. Please use it. We love it also for you being here and sharing your knowledge and your idea with us. Please go ahead.
So, just looking at the slides. So my name is Tin, and our company is called OSVehicle, and it's based in Silicon Valley. We moved there. Actually, our team is coming mainly from Italy, and also I'm Italian, even if it doesn't look like. And I was born and grew up in Turin, the city of Fiat, Chrysler, Automobile, Pininfarina, Giugiaro. Was working in the automotive industry for several years. And we moved to Silicon Valley to found OSVehicle. And our objective is to create custom vehicles, electric and self-driving, for companies. Okay, so our objective is to create the perfect car for Uber, for example, or Amazon, Google, Waymo. Okay, so this is we started by providing the core technology, platform technology, so chassis, powertrain, lithium batteries, everything that makes the vehicle move to companies. And then we evolved by collecting data with a data-driven approach. We started to, we understood that we really needed to create a complete vehicle that is designed and engineered for services. And I have a video, and this is our evolution.
Introducing the future of the automotive industry. A ready-to-use, road-legal vehicle designed and engineered in Italy. Featuring a platform that is entirely modular, allowing vehicles to adapt to any situation, any location, any need. A truly adaptable vehicle designed and engineered for services. The modular platform allows for truly future-proofed vehicles, ready to easily repair, refurbish, and upgrade any part necessary, with flexibility to choose even up to level 5 complete autonomous driving. A fleet of self-driving, truly white-label vehicles can operate up to 24 hours every day, allowing for maximum efficiency. And because the entire platform is built on a modular architecture, fleets of vehicles can last 10 times longer. Customizable, modular, and upgradable. Designed to last. Designed to evolve.
So basically, we are creating a bridge between the Silicon Valley world of software, innovation, hardware, electronics, sensors, lidars, with the traditional automotive industry. And also, we believe that in the very near future, more people are going to avoid buying cars. Instead, they are going to use more services like ride sharing and car sharing. So that's why we are not competing against Tesla or Nissan. They have their own market already, and it's a very competitive market with lower margins every year. So we simply don't want to do this. Okay, so. And another thing is about a huge problem that we are solving is about the planned obsolescence. And actually, this is a huge problem that the economists, for example, they featured. This is a picture from actually Germany in 2015. And simply using cars, traditional cars, designed and engineered for ownership, is not really good for the environment because the lifespan of the vehicle dramatically drops. Okay, some vehicles in a successful car sharing, they don't last more than 2 years. So this is a huge problem. Yeah. And so that's why we really push the modularity of the vehicles. And we are more inspired by the aviation industry, for example. We are replacing key components, battery packs. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, for the
Thank you.
introduction.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. Great. Michael Gray of 10D Energies, Gazele. You've also prepared something for us. How do you like the stories so far? Are they good?
Great. Actually, your company's not too different from ours. We just focus on a different part of the picture.
Yeah.
Great.
Exactly.
Like
By-
it meant, like
by
this
synergy.
had to be like
Yes.
this. Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So I'm Michael Gray from 10D Energies. Pause that for a second. Hi, Michael. We are a Seattle-based company, so we think similarly. We came from the software world also, similar model. So we think that the weak link in EVs today, what's driving the cost up, what's driving lifetime down, what's driving practicality down, is the battery pack. And we think there's some low-hanging technical fruit that we can address. So I'm going to start off with a demo video and then walk you through it a bit. So that was sort of a random selection of clips, but our tagline there, "Saving the planet one cell at a time," is key here. So when we look at EVs and kind of look at what components are in them, we kind of see where can we do better. When we look, okay, key components, the motor control. Well, really, motors got solved in industrial applications decades ago. The motor control has gotten cheaper over time, but it's a well-understood problem, and we don't see efficiency improving much. When we look at the batteries, new chemistries, yeah, we want that. But that could be 1 year, 5 years, 10 years down the line, and we want to know what we can do today to make EVs more practical. And what we found is it's actually the software in the battery pack. It's the battery management system where the low-hanging fruit is. So we think that with battery management, we can build better EVs. And that's the next step. So what we do is we manage individual cells or very tiny groups of cells rather than managing the battery pack as a whole. We used all the capacity from each individual cell. And that's important because current systems treat the pack as a whole, and you end up getting the performance and the capacity and the lifetime of your weakest cell. We think we can get you the performance, the capacity of the lifetime of all your cells put together, the strongest cells and the weakest cells. The weak cells get weak, they go bad, your strong cells still work. So we think we can get longer lifespan out of the car. In Seattle, Washington, where I'm from, we have some of the cheapest power in the United States. And because of that, we have a lot of EVs, and we get to see a lot of dead EVs. We see cars dying in 3 to 5 years, and all that happened was that one cell went bad, 2 cells went bad. We pulled those cells out, and the car runs again. We think that car could have lasted for 10 years if the software and the battery management system were just slightly better. Similarly, we think we get better range when we manage the packs intelligently, when we balance charge from strong cells to weak cells, rather than having to cut the car off and say it's at 0%, when the weakest cell hits 0%, we think we can wait till the strongest cell hits 0%. And in fact, we have a prototype on the floor that does that here. And also, very importantly, we think we can get EV costs down. We see costs today where 20, 30, 40% of the EV cost is the battery pack itself. And the reason for that is you need cells that are very, very closely matched so that you can manage the entire battery as a whole. If you don't closely match the cells, you don't have all that assembly line time. You don't have all that testing time. All you have to do is test for safety and capacity. You no longer have to match the cells under current load, under temperature, and all the different permutations of environmental conditions. That drives the cost of the pack down. That drives the cost of EVs down. That makes EVs more practical.
Final sentence? Yeah?
I will just move on, but I'll mention that we've got cloud services and some learning. So the cars, as their cells age,
Yes.
they learn from sibling cars with similar cells. Those learnings go up to the cloud and back down to individual cars. And with that, I will cut myself off.
Yeah.
And pass on the clicker.
This was already a very good teaser with the cloud services, because mentioning this in one sentence, we'll come back to that later, no worries. So fourth guest, Andreas Pfeffer of IC. 5 minutes to introduce yourself and your company.
Okay, my name is Andreas Pfeffer. I've been studying internal combustion engines. We know since quite some years what's coming out of the muffler, and we've been working on it to make it better, but you come to a point where you see that the superior technology takes place of an older technology, and we know that Stone Age didn't end because there were no stones left. And that's similar to what we are seeing now. The combustion engine has taken us from 100 years ago to now. The time has changed. The world is pretty soon on 8 billion people, and we see the combusted cities, and we see that we have to think differently. And that is a headline of this podium here. We have to think differently, and we see that we have to do it now. And we see that there has been technology evolving, like the battery technology. The technology has come such a long way. And there's no time to wait for a better technology. We have seen that it works not in every aspect. The battery teaches us that we have limited energy on board, and it takes some time to refuel this energy on board. But we see also, we know since 3 years now that there's not only black and white, but there are 50 shades of gray. So we see that in the inner cities, the electric car with the range and this charging locations work already. There are many cars that are driving in the cities that don't need to recharge because they leave their home depot in the morning, drive all day long through the city and return. And they've only driven 60 kilometers because of the traffic and the location they need to run to. You don't have a chance to even drive further than 60 kilometers in the city because of the congestion. So no difficulty with the infrastructure, and it works already today. We've proven it with a lot of cars on the road, and we wanted to not wait, we wanted to do it now, and we were going to say, okay, if we look at this aspect of these type of vehicles, those are the vans running in the city. You talk about UPS, DHL, you name it. Their electromobility works already very, very perfectly. You leave your depot in the morning, you run through the city all day long, and you see that a range of 100 kilometers is enough. And we started like 4 years ago, and we have a lot of different cars that we can convert. And we took the cars that we can buy today, put a battery underneath. It's nicely snuggled under the underguard of the car. We don't reduce the loading capacity of the cars. We have sufficient driving power. Our cars have, in average, something like 130 kilowatt of motor driving the vehicle. So that's more than enough. It's not a Tesla, but enough for these type of cars. And we can recharge them very fastly. The headline is "Do it now," and that's what the spirit is of all of us four here. We are not waiting for someone to come and bring us the car until when it's time and da-da-da. No, we have taken responsibility. We are doing it now. We are proving now that it works, and that is the best is always to put a product out in the market, show it works, and then the consumer will follow, and that's what we're doing right now, and that's what the panel discussion will continue now about.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, applause. You may applaud, of course, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, very good.
Needed.
So let's imagine there's a perfect world and we have no legacy in technical insight whatsoever. So if you could start all over again, I would like to know, what would you do first? So what would be your first initiative to start with?
That's a question. We didn't prepare that. That's a question I love a lot because we are told since we are kids, you can't do this, you can't do that. Before we are 18, we have been told 500,000 times what we all can't do. You're too small, you're too beautiful, your feet are too long. Nonsense. We have to do it. We can do more things. Take a look at Elon Musk. He left South Africa and just did it. And that's the spirit that we need. We need people that just do it. That's why the legacy, I think, there's a lot more that we can do. And we should not turn around on the first difficulty because the battery, one cell out of 7,000 went bad. We don't just eat it up like that. We find a technology against it. It might take 2 nights, 3 nights, 5 nights, or even longer, but we are getting there. And that's the spirit that we need. We have so much technology in hand. We live in the best time of human being, and we have so many possibilities, international, coming from America right now over to join this discussion. We'll have a discussion later on, and we can do so many things, and we just have to do it, and that's the spirit.
Exactly. So from your perspective, and what, by the way, is very good, we see all these mobile phones now of people filming, so that's always a good sign that you're really involved, and we can also do questions later. But from your perspective, why do you decided at one time, okay, we are going to build the car ourselves? Because that seems like a huge step that could be also very dangerous indeed.
Yeah. I used to work in design and engineering companies in Italy. We've been working with several auto OEMs, and we saw that the automotive industry is quite, let's say, close and not really pushing innovation. And that's why I decided to move to Silicon Valley, because there's people like Elon Musk like pushing new projects, new visions of saving the planet, making the world a better place. So if I think about the beginning of OSVehicle is about enabling more companies to create innovation faster. And because the auto OEMs are so slow, they're like dinosaurs. They're very huge and powerful, but also very slow. So I really believe in fast innovation, disruptive innovation. So we started to provide a base, and then we evolved this to a complete car that is customizable. And we are solving a huge problem, because that's why we decided to make our vehicle. Companies like Intel, LG, Sony as well, they are introducing new technologies in the automotive industry. The problem is that the big car OEM are very slow into adapting this technology. So that's why we made the IKEA car. So you can put this technology way faster and have it on the street and collect data, valuable data, to improve and make iteration faster.
Yeah. So, and how do you finance this transfer from being a data platform to a car manufacturer yourself?
Finance in what sense? Sorry.
How do you finance this endeavor, this adventure?
Oh, okay. Okay, we started with using our own funds, and now we got some money from investors in Silicon Valley and China as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
countries.
Yeah.
Can you disclose how much or
No.
not really?
No,
Yeah.
no, no. Yeah.
Okay.
We are still in fundraising, and actually, we are planning to open our European branch by the end of this year.
Okay. Ah, that's very
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, we don't see the car of the future like Tesla that you want to own and have it in your garage. Instead, thanks to the technology like self-driving, we see the car of the future like a supercomputer on wheels, and you can replace parts, put in more power, GPUs, CPUs, more memory, better connection, better sensors, better battery technologies. You know. So
That
this
is you come from Silicon Valley and it's so normal to you, like talking about it. You have Uber there, you don't need to own a car. Here we still have to do this transformation of 92% of the time our cars are not driving. They are blocking our roads, our streets, our systems. We don't need to own a car, and in San Francisco the people are much further. They have accepted it. It's not my car, and we are doing it with Drive Now. When I need a car, I get one, and I get the right car that I need. When I want to commute with my 3 children, I take a van. If I want to go myself in the office, and that is a stretch where I see, especially here in Europe, we are not there yet. We are not there yet, and we have to understand autonomous driving, and then all that goes hand in hand. And when you're talking about the future, we're not talking about 25 years. It's in front of our door. It's right there. And we've been driving different generations of autonomous driving, and they're already so good that it just takes a few more algorithms so that I can send my car to go and get the beer for me, and I can keep on sitting on the sofa, and the beer will come to me.
Yeah.
And it's not years in the future. It's coming very, very fast.
Yeah. So when it comes to the battery, what does this mean for me? What you're working on? If I own an electric vehicle, what's the difference for me as an end consumer that you're involved in this battery and not some other company?
So you'll see 3 things. The first thing you'll see is that your price will be a lot lower. If you purchase the car outright, or if you use a car service, the prices would become a lot lower, because if you look at, I look at what people drive around my town today. We have a lot of Teslas with large battery packs. They literally cost 40%. The battery pack is 40% of the cost of the car. If you could cut that in half, that makes a huge difference. That makes EVs so much more practical. That makes car sharing based on EVs so much more practical.
Yep.
So you'd see that. You'd see better lifetime of battery packs. As I mentioned, our company started with a lot of hobbyists who were opening up dead EVs, and we'd see these only lasting 3 to 5 years on the tail end. Those were the ones that we could get cheaply and to open up and play with because we were curious. And we think they can last for 10 years easy, just with a small software change. So suddenly your car lasts a lot longer. The third thing you would see is greater range. Because we do the active balancing between cells and we're not dependent on the weak cells to get the range, it's an easy, cheap range improvement without adding more batteries, without adding more weight, without adding more cost.
Yeah. So, Markus, thank you for your patience. Coming to your concept, actually, if you're thinking about it a little bit longer, actually, you need all of them in order for you to make the acceptance of the concept that you're working on also in order, right? So you need all these movements within society to, in the end, offer your service. That's almost too huge. I mean, it's too big. Isn't it too hard to understand for people?
Yeah, to be honest, I think they all need me. Because without my charging stations, they will run out of juice and you will stuck in the middle of nowhere. So what is first, the chick or the egg? Yeah? to my point of view, to compare to the internet, first of all, you need the content. You need the charging stations. So I decided with all my investors to spread all over Europe 50,000 charging stations until end of next year in the hotels. Why in the hotels? Because if you own an EV car, you start with a full battery at home, for sure. Then you drive to your office, or you come back home, or you drive to a hotel. To my point of view, there is no other way. Maybe a camping place or something that, but speak about the hotels, you will arrive in hotels. In hotels, you do the park. You park in the garage. You don't park somewhere on the street. You just go to the garage of the hotel. So what we are doing, we put our plug, we put our charging station just right in front of the entrance of the hotel door. Why that? To make all the people of you and all the people that are not here today, make them viewable that you could charge here in that nice hotel if you would have an electrical car. And then the next step for us would be if we spread our charging station for free to all the hotels, we spread them all in the new built houses. We don't stand still at the hotels. We will put them into the new building houses, like the mobile devices earlier times, and then we wait until all you will buy an electrical car, because you see every day that famous charging station from echarge.work. Every day you will see that in your garage of your new house, and you just get it for free from the building company, and you only have to activate that.
I love how you avoid the question and explain to us what the process will be of how you're going to introduce this. Are there already some questions from the audience? Because this is actually something, what you in the audience as an end consumer will be very much involved in. So you will go to a hotel and with your car, and you will see this infrastructure over there and think yourselves, hey, okay, this could also be an option for me. So when you're talking about 50,000 of those installations, by the way, you need a lot of money for this.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you already have the money? You have okay,
them,
okay, very good.
On stock on the bank,
On the bank, waiting for the right moment?
Yeah. We started today. We invested 18 months, if you remember, in our think tank how to do that.
Yeah.
And now we decided that we start on the International Automobile Show in Frankfurt.
Yes.
Just now.
Great. This is the future of mobility. This is new mobility. Questions? I saw there this young gentleman in the back. Yeah, please stand up. Yeah, it's you. Stand up. Yeah. Stand up. What were you thinking when you were listening to all these people? We want to know. We want to have interaction.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got here.
Yeah, no problem. What kind of question do you have on electricity, e-mobility? What's the question that you have?
Well, as far as that goes, what's about the time frame we can see more electric cars than, say, gasoline on the streets, say, of Europe in general?
Yeah, it's just your decision. If you go now or straight away...
Make the change,
Yeah, just go straight away to your car dealer and buy one. Because everyone on stage in all the other halls tell us that since more than 10 years, they will sell a Golf, they sell the BMW, the E3, all cars are available, just walk there and buy it.
Yeah. But he's a young guy, so he's asking for the tipping point, right? So maybe he doesn't have the moment. He's asking for the tipping point. Yeah. Where's the tipping point? Because he's, when will it shift? When do you see the critical mass?
Well, I would answer it like this. We see now a huge threat on if inner cities are being closed. It's hard to enter, and we see that car sharing companies will invest more and more money now fastly. We also see that the established automotive industry is investing heavily into electromobility, but there are cars out there that are drivable, that are great, that are cheaper to run than combustion cars. You have to think different, but as always, the smart cars, those are cars excellent for cities. I have myself two E500, great cars to run in the city, and they are available. But what we need to do, and we talked about that earlier on and yesterday also, we need to go out and educate the broad. That we see that in the newspapers, in the TV, there's still so many reasons why it doesn't work. But if you just try it, do it, run a car, get a EV, and drive it for 2 days, you will find it does 80%, 90% of the jobs that you need to do. The EV does today already. I have one combustion car in my family, and I on purpose need to drive it on the weekends because normally my EV is taking me everywhere. So it's possible already today, and we just need to have more adopters that understand what EV can do for you, and then it works. Then it tips.
I want to have your estimation, a year, a date, something to hold on to. Tin, do you know?
I think related to the news coming also from the auto OEMs, so some of them are saying 2020, 2025, something like this, okay, could be. But actually, I think that this is not really the point. I think that the most important thing is understanding the trends, okay? So if you see the latest stats of big auto OEMs, they are struggling to sell cars to the new generations, okay? For example, how old are you?
21.
21. Do you own a car?
Yes, I do. Combustion.
Combustion. And do you live in a city center area or
Urban
area? Okay. In Germany?
Oh, States.
In the States. Okay.
Where?
Atlanta.
Okay.
Everything over there is combustion still. Change hasn't come. I think a lot of people just get the sense that they think electric and they think, oh, it's more expensive or
That is one thing that we definitely have to overcome. It's a calculation, and we see that I can speak for Europe. We see that the fumes. It is coming now to that we are really realizing what the air quality in the cities are. You know, the Dieselgate, and we can't stop talking about it until the air is better. Every day, the fumes are being measured nowadays in inner cities, and if you do that, it's been thrown now every day in the papers in our face. And if we have days without wind, we exceed.
Andreas, you've made this point. This is very clear. But Tin asked these questions for a reason, I think.
Yeah, actually, you are in Atlanta, and I think Uber is available there.
It's very big there,
Yeah, do you use it sometimes?
Oh, I use it everywhere, yeah.
Everywhere, okay. So can you, how much are you using it? More than driving your car, or?
Well, I own a truck, so I use that for long distances.
Okay, only for long distances.
I'll use the Uber systems.
Okay, so you use Uber more often than your
I would
ownership
say so.
car, right?
Within the inner downtown area.
Yeah. So that's the trend, actually. So players like Uber.
I've actually just started doing that. So.
Yeah. So actually, in a big city like Atlanta, San Francisco, Paris, or Lisbon, it's a very big hassle to own a car. Okay, it's very expensive.
I was even just doing that in Paris too. A week
ago. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I go to Paris very often, and I don't want to own and drive a car there. Obviously, it's expensive. You have to find parking, and it costs you more. And if you have a drink with friends or colleagues, you cannot even drive back. So it's a problem.
Before we go to another question, because we have lots of questions now popping up. Thank you. Okay, your answer to
as Markus has identified, the infrastructure is extremely important. I live in a very strange part of the United States, Redmond, Washington, and we every day we look at the street and we're like Tesla, Fiat 500e, Nissan Leaf. They're everywhere. And the reason is because we have the charging infrastructure. The city put in the charging infrastructure. Tesla has their superchargers. Some businesses have put up chargers. It's so easy. Apartment complexes, when they open, they put in chargers. They glow there. They look pretty. People wonder, what's this for? Because of that, we see EVs all over the place. There are days when I walk down the street and I'm starting to see 50% EV on certain days. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Now, what's interesting with that is we have the infrastructure. We've also have some low-cost EVs. So we have people, are in the same city as the Microsoft headquarters are located. We have a lot of people starting their first job out of college, and we have car dealerships offering incentives. So the Nissan Leaf was the cheapest vehicle they could purchase, and they didn't have to pay for gas. So we're seeing a lot of first-time drivers buying EVs.
But interpreting the trends right, it would mean that we have this tipping point when?
So in my city, it's almost there. In the rest of the United States, it's still maybe a decade or more.
And your city is?
Redmond, Washington.
In Washington, okay.
So if I tell my parents that, who live in a different part of the United States, they think I'm crazy. I still haven't got them to buy an EV.
Okay, that's your personal problem. Yeah, we cannot solve this for you now.
My parents.
Second question.
Thank you. My question, you've mentioned the problem with the infrastructure, because basically when you have an electric vehicle, to charge it you need much more time than combustion engine, which is basically instant. You go into a fuel station and then you have, in 2 minutes you can exchange the range for 500, 600 miles or 1,000 kilometers or whatever. Do you see any breaking, trend-setting technology coming up that will enable EV vehicles to be charged instantly, which is, I think, what holds back this industry right now?
Yeah, I will take that question. No, I don't see that, because from the government perspective, or from that perspective of the energy companies, the instant charging disrupts the whole grid. So that's a very bad thing, because you just get unplanned charging. And from the physical aspects, I'm an old since 30 years I have radio-controlled helicopters, and there's always, you need 1 hour to fulfill, to really fill the battery. So that I see no technology at all. And look, what is double the technology? Double technology, if you have an iPhone, then you get every year, or you get more and more power to that iPhone, but because there's so much money invested in the chips. So if we would invest, let's say, 10 billion or 100 billion into the battery factory, then I will guess that within 2 years we will have 1,000 kilometers. And then 1,000 kilometers, you just need to charge once a week. So the solution to your question is, charge it overnight. That is good for the grid. We can get the energy out of the grid. We don't need any more plants to produce the grid. We can take it from the solar. We can take it from the windmills. We can take it from the sustainable energy, and we don't need any gas turbines to cover the peaks that you produce in fast charging. So the fast charging on the highway, that's just a temporary solution that is good for the people who produce the charging stations to get financed by the European Union funds, but not for the whole society. The society will love to have it over the night. Yeah.
Yeah, our battery guy will answer you, or you have a follow-up on this, or yeah.
Honestly, I think it's a workaround rather than a solution. And I know that from the mobile phone industries, we see some startups that can instantly charge your mobile phone in 60 seconds. So, and also I think that the grid is a matter of evolution. I think that if that will be standard, then
so you agree? You agree, basically. You agree with him? Yeah. No. First, our battery guy. Yes.
So I think there's a perception problem there, first of all. I took my father-in-law in a Tesla, I believe it was a P85, the other day. We drove to a fast charging station. I got him ice cream, or I tried to get him ice cream. He ended up not eating any, but I tried to get him ice cream. And in that time, we charged the car. That car has a 300-kilometer range, I believe, because I think in miles, and it charges in an hour there. I really don't think that's that bad. So I think there's a perception issue with EVs. The second thing I see is supercapacitor technology is coming. And supercapacitors you normally would use along with batteries. They don't have as much capacity, but they charge and discharge very, very quickly. So you're not going to get the entire range of your car, but you may be able to charge up those supercaps for a short trip very, very quickly. And I think that the grid will catch up someday. As we get more EVs on the grid that are able to feed power from their battery packs back out to the grid, we'll start to equalize out. As you can start to trade power with your neighbors for fast charging, someday that will equalize out, but it's not there today.
Okay, but for how long will we need this extra fast charging instead of doing it all in this decentralized infrastructure?
I don't know when the decentralized infrastructure will get there. That's sort of the next step after EVs come, that sort of thing.
Okay. You wanted to add something to this?
That is, there are a lot of reasons why we haven't gone to EV, why we don't invest further in EV. I think the motivation and the understanding is not clear enough. Germany alone invests every year 100 billion into fossil elements, fuel to the Arabic world, coal, and so on. So that's a lot of money. We see that we just right now breathe air, smell it. That's a CO2 level of 800,000 years ago. Can I repeat that? 800,000 years ago. We are burning every year fuel that the sun had needed 1 million years to produce, because fossil fuel is just trees falling down, making coal, making oil, making gas. So 1 million years is what we burn per year. So it's a matter of motivation. I'm driving an electric car since 4 years. I've never, the one time, used a public charging station, because I live somewhat in the suburb. I drive in, I drive out, 140 kilometers, I can do it. If I need to go further, I take the train. Now, my quality of life went down? No. It's a little bit different behavior, but we are human beings. We can jump, we can run, and we can adapt to these small change in behavior, and can start EV today. It came when we had a Nokia. We needed to charge it once a week, because it had a lot of, we didn't have a screen, we didn't have Wi-Fi, we didn't have internet. Now I have an iPhone, I have to charge it every day. I adopted to it, and we can do the same with EV without a problem and without the quality of life going down. And we just have to open ourselves up to this, and it works. And then if I need to travel long distance, I'm much smarter if I take the train or the plane to not be in the traffic jam.
And very quickly, I wanted to add a few words. Obviously, the infrastructure is fundamental. We need to have charging stations. We need to have new technologies for charging. Okay, so there are already startups and big companies that are also involved in the mobile industry that are working fast charging for cars. Okay, and actually, we have to think about that. There are also other ways. It's not only the fast charging. There are companies, startups that are working heavily on modular batteries technology. Okay, so you can replace these battery packs easily. Okay, and you have it instantly charged, for example. Obviously, we need to have very good BMS. Okay, that can control each modules. Okay, instead of thinking about battery like one piece, okay, but singular parts, okay, that can be changed. So, yeah.
Yeah, interesting to also hear you and deliberate on this topic, because, I mean, you guys are so lucky. We're talking about the future of mobility here. So you're just on a Sunday in Frankfurt at the IAA, you know, really being informed about what is happening tomorrow and not only today. So a question, yes. I think it's working.
Hello?
Otherwise, shout. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Sushant, and I just heard about you talking about Germany. I would like to ask you a question. Like, you're owning an EV, and you're staying in the suburbs. Right now, if I'm staying in the suburbs, I'm having my apartment. Let's go back to the infrastructure of providing the charging. When I'm staying in an apartment, I have to get the charging station in my apartment parking. And if you see, the energy industry in Germany is really complex, and we are already finding a solution to it. Is to make it more simpler. What do you think, if I want to get the EV today, right now, staying in an apartment, what kind of initiatives are taken from your company to get the energy industry into it, and how will you provide the charging stations in apartments for buildings?
Yep. That's a good question, and that is also one point, like the one before, why it doesn't work. But if we invest, and we know it's not going to be, believe me, it's not going to be the way with a combustion engine where we get 20% to the wheel. So we know it's got to be a different solution, and it will be, for the inner city, it will be electric. There's nothing falling from the sky. It will be electric. So why not invest into the infrastructure for you to charge today? We got the money, we pay a lot of money for fossil. Why not invest into it? It's a matter of doing it. The money is around. We are not lacking of money. We are lacking of initiative of doing it, like Markus is doing, getting it out, getting it to people for free. We have an issue with the grid. People say, oh, our grid is too old, it won't work. I say, wrong, because we can put by now batteries in locations to serve the net. The grid is weak, but we see that we have a high fluctuation during the day in the grid. So in the time where the grid is not utilized 100%, we can recharge decentral power station with a battery, and from there into the EVs and smoothen the grid by having a decentral structure. But I would emphasize that cities invest into the infrastructure on the road so that people, even on an apartment, in an apartment, can run EV. It's possible, and I think it's just like we have seen mobile telephones evolving from a slow standard. By now, the mobile internet is very fast, and no one really talked about it. There were billions invested into that. We just need to do it also on the charging side. And like Markus is throwing into our face, he will do it, and just tell me where your house is, you get it for free.
Just send me an email, it's easy.
Exactly.
And we have the box at the booth, so we will do that.
This is the initiative that we need. We just need to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is also the point why we start from the hotels, because the hotels is a kind of public accessible. And if you stay overnight, you can do a charge there. And if there's no bookings, then you are invited to park your car at the hotel garage and just plug it in. So that is why our initiative, we start from the hotels. I also talked in Vienna to the public authorities that they will put my charger into the telephone cells, because no one needs that old-fashioned telephone cells anymore. But there's a lot of discussion then, we have to do, and we have to talk, and to have to sign, and sit again with the minister and so on. But hotels are easy. I just give them my charger, I pay for the electricity, I pay for the people who install it. So it's just a single contract on one page I have to sign, and I can do it now. And what we now have also to announce is that we have some cooperation started. We have some cooperation started with all these guys here, because I put them on the panel to make the things happen. Yeah, like with TIN, we started now to talk about that we have the hotel shuttle.
Yeah.
That we bring the hotel shuttle to the hotel, because every guest who wants to be picked up from the railway station or from the airport, there is no need to pick him up with the combustion engine anymore. We will bring the echarge.work hotel bus shuttle to the hotel, connected to our charging station, and give you the live experience how easy it is to drive with the electric vehicle. It's just a matter of scale. If we add it to the 50,000 charging stations, 50,000 cars from him, then we have done a basis. Yeah? And to add on that, if you go further with real estate business, if you are a real estate business company, I have no idea if there's someone or knows some real estate company. If you build 80,000 apartments in Munich, for example, you need a mobile concept. You need a mobility concept. Otherwise, you will not get the authorities sign the approval. And what we have now, the idea is, we put in the 80,000 apartments, there are some mobility, we do some car sharing concept there, we put the charging stations there, and we put the vehicles from him produced in Magna, in a car manufacturing plant, and to give it just for free, included in the apartment price. Yeah, because the apartment price is huge, so just add a vehicle. So just three size of vehicles: one for the single person, very cheap, 90 euros per month or something like that. The family car for 3 children for 199, and maybe the sports car for the Millennium for 299. So that's just the idea what we talked last night, and that was the reason why he's here. He just flew in yesterday from Portugal. I invited him to show everybody that that there are a lot of concepts out, new concepts there. We just have to do it, and don't listen to the old man who says, it does not work like this and this and this. We have to sit again and discuss again and blah, blah, blah. So just do it now.
Yeah.
The time is ready for it.
Tin, a little bit more about, because you're saying we're open up a factory line in Europe this year. So what?
Yeah, so actually we see a lot of potential in Europe. Okay, and there are some countries already are some great examples, like in Scandinavian countries. Okay, and actually I would like to explain you that things are changing very fast. Okay, so if we think about the iPhone, just 10 years, it seems like a crazy. Okay, 10 years ago, we couldn't believe, okay, what happened today in the mobile, okay? But things now are happening in the mobility industry, okay? So here we have 4 pieces of a huge puzzle, okay? He is converting existing cars into electric. I'm doing the car of the future. He's an example of very great technology related to battery. And he's doing a very important part of making an infrastructure in Europe, 50,000 charging stations. That's a huge number, okay? So I think that also I'm stressing the part of services, okay? Because you are talking a lot, thinking to own a car, okay? So I own a car and I'm stressed about the range, okay, the usage and everything. Instead, there are already players in the car sharing and the fleets and the ride sharing, okay? I think they have to do a crazy move and shift into electric. Because when they shift to electric, you don't even have to care about the range, okay? There is just a driver bringing you from A to B, and that's it. And it's even more convenient for you than owning a car and driving yourself, okay? And in the near future, okay, there will be no driver, okay? So you just summon a car, and you just go in, and you can read or write an email, okay, make a phone call, use social media, that's it, and then you arrive, okay? So I think that we have to prepare ourselves into making less resistance to the change.
That is an important.
Andreas, I didn't think that this would be your topic.
Well, I know, but it's hard for me because I think we have to overcome this kind of defensive mindset because it will be more exciting.
Yeah, but come on, this is Germany. What do you think?
But still, I'm a family father, and I saw this every morning coming to the exhibition ground here, and it takes you 1.5 hours from a little bit outside to get here through the traffic jam, 1.5 hours out and 1.5 hours back to Wiesbaden, and that is that 3 hours of my private life, and I'm sacrificing that. I take that time away from my family, I take that time away from my job, and we'll have that extra. But people feel threatened by what's coming up in the near future.
Yeah, but Andreas, there are millions of jobs connected to this current system.
I know.
So you have to understand that this is just not possible within a couple of months.
No, we're not talking about a short period of time. I've been working 25 years in the automotive industry. I know exactly what's going on, and that's why I'm taking now the word in electromobility, because I know that if we neglect it, if we are acting like it will not happen, we are missing the train. We are missing the train. It will happen in China. They come up with a quote. We are selling, Germany exporting 75% of the car is sold in outside of Germany, and we see already other European countries, 4 other European countries have already a ban for combustion engines in a couple of years. China is starting with that maybe next year. So we see that we have to jump on the train while we can catch it, and that's now.
Yeah, just to add, that is also something that drives me crazy. So we lost a lot of industries. We have now Facebook, we have here Google, very nice service. We have Amazon on the thing, and if we don't make the things happen now with the EV, then we also will lose some part of the automotive industry to the Chinese people, to the Americans, yeah, because we just want to prohibit the trends, yeah.
Yeah.
Michael, so are you optimistic about, like, if you have an outsider's perspective of the pace of change that you're seeing? Are you optimistic?
Definitely. Like I've seen what can happen, and I know that I live in a very strange place in that we do have the EVs, we do have the infrastructure, we do have the power, and there's the different public perception. But it didn't take much at all to get there. It just needed a little bit of infrastructure, and it just needed a few people to start driving EVs. People see, what is this? They take a ride in one, and they go, wow, this it feels like a spaceship. What is this thing? Wait, it only costs this much? Like, it just takes a little shift, and I don't think it's going to be hard.
Cool.
I think that also
some final remarks closing up. Yeah. Using, by the way, NMW17 if you want to tweet about this panel, and if you like and want to share a comment, then please do so. Yeah.
Yeah, very quick word about this. Actually, I think that the transaction, the mindset is very important, and this is something absolutely crucial. But I think that there are companies like Uber or the taxis, okay, they can think about how to improve this experience without changing the way users use this service, okay? So think about in Frankfurt, okay, taxis, they use fleets of electric vehicles. You don't have to care about the range. In Uber as well. So Uber in Lisbon or Porto in Portugal, you have the option to choose the Uber Green, okay? Same price, same service, so same efficiency. So
Yeah.
I think this is a very
So
great
just come
point.
to our booth in Hall 3-1, A43, and get informed about the future of e-mobility. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your questions. You were a great audience. Thank you for the energy. But I would like to ask you also to give our panel a big round of applause for this last hour. Great guys. Thank you. And don't forget their names: OSVehicle, echarge.work, IC, and Gazele. So look them up on the internet. Thank you so much again, and see you later. Here.